White trim is not the problem. It's just the default. It's what people always go to when they're thinking about painting their house. Baseboards, frames, door jambs, crown molding. Let's go white. And when something becomes the default, people stop asking if it's actually the best choice for their space. That's where we are right now.
Oh yeah!
White trim has taken over for the last decade because it's clean, it's safe, it works with almost everything, but it also flattens a lot of spaces in ways people don't always recognize. And what designers are starting to do, quietly, is bring contrast back. Not in a dramatic way, not in a trend-chasing cringe way, more in a structural way, which I think is pretty cool. Because trim isn't just detail, it's architecture. And this is also where people get into some trouble, y'all, because contrast only really works if the colors actually relate to each other in your space. That's why sampling becomes really important here. When you're comparing a wall color to a trim color, you need to see them together in your lighting, next to your flooring and your furniture and your finishes. And a tiny paint chip just doesn't give you that. That's where something like Sample Eyes actually makes a huge difference. Their peel and stick samples let you move colors around your space, compare wall and trim combinations side by side, and see how they behave throughout the entire day. Because with contrast especially, it's not just about picking two nice, cute colors. It's about making sure they work together like a team. Okay, so let's get into why this shift is happening here.
Let me tell you something. Let me tell you.
White trim did not start out as a problem, okay? It's the opposite. It became a go-to solution for a lot of people. The problem is, it also became a problem because it became automatic. When white trim is used intentionally, it can look clean, sharp, and really well balanced. But when it becomes the default, when every surface in a room is some variation of white or off-white, something subtle starts to happen. You lose structure. If your walls are light, your trim is white, your ceiling is white, your doors are white, your eye doesn't really know where anything begins or ends. The edges of the room start to kind of blur together. At first, that can feel calm, peaceful. It can feel minimal, but over time, it can also feel a little empty, lifeless, like the room is missing definition. And this is where people get confused, because nothing looks obviously wrong. It just doesn't feel as finished as it could. Contrast is what gives a space hierarchy. It tells your eye, this is the wall, this is the frame, this is the boundary. It creates layers. And when that contrast disappears, even a beautiful paint color can lose impact. It's like everything is speaking at the same volume. Everything's just nice and compressed. Once you start noticing this, you see it everywhere, I promise you. Homes that are technically nice, but feel a little safe, a little flat, a little too blended. That's why designers are starting to reintroduce contrast. Not because white trim is bad, but because the space needs a little more structure. Are you looking for a full-service online color consultation? Check out the link below because we are offering a personalized color consultation service with Maria, our full-time consultant. You can have a back-and-forth communication to make sure you're picking the right colors for your space. Details are all below. When you introduce contrast into your trim, you're not decorating, you're defining. You're telling the room where things start and stop, and that's what makes it feel designed. To me, there are three ways to do it. First is soft contrast, subtle separation, almost invisible improvement. For example, you have white dove on your walls and Chantilly lace trim. Believe it or not. Feels clean, but a little more refined. Or you can go with tonal contrast. Same family, different depth. Pale oak, Collingwood. Or even edgecomb gray on the walls and Pashmina on the trim. Now you're layering. Then you have bold contrast, and this is where intention matters most. Contrasting trim works best when the level of contrast matches the level of intention in the room. There are three ways to approach it: soft, tonal, and bold. And most people jump straight to this bold option without building the foundation. To me, soft contrast is much easier to work with. You're working with very similar colors, just creating a little bit of separation. It's subtle, but it adds clarity to the space without disrupting anything. Tonal contrast is where things start to feel a little more designed. You're taking a little more risk. You're staying within the same color family, but shifting depth pretty considerably. That creates a layered look that feels intentional without being dramatic. This is where a lot of really good interiors sit. But the idea of bold contrast is where it becomes architectural. Light walls, dark trim, like iron ore or something. It can look incredible, but here's the catch. It only works if everything else in the room supports it. If your flooring, your lighting, your furniture, and finishes don't align, bold contrast can feel disconnected really quick. It goes from looking designed to looking like a mistake. The key isn't choosing contrast, it's choosing the right level of contrast for your space. And most people, they don't need more contrast, they just need better alignment. I find more bold contrast tends to work best in older homes.
I'll allow it.
Sometimes in transitional spaces within a home and rooms that are lacking structure. It's the fastest way to add that, but you just have to be careful and mindful of it. Also, quick exterior note, light siding and dark trim equals instant structure. The same idea indoors, but just a little more nuanced and perhaps a bit finicky. Some of the biggest mistakes I see with contrasting trim is just random contrast, just doing it for the sake of doing it. Wrong undertones as well. You have to be very mindful of the colors that you're working with and making sure they work together. Also, going bold too fast. If you just jump right into it because you want to change things up, it can sometimes feel way too jarring for you as the homeowner. And also, inconsistency is a big issue because if you have lighter trim everywhere else and then randomly in one room, you got a black and white kind of domino effect, probably not going to work. If a space feels like it's missing something, most people assume they need new furniture, new lighting, or a full-on just gut show, full renovation. But a lot of the time, what's actually missing is structure. And trim is one of the easiest ways to add that back in. Trim defines the edges of a room. It frames everything. Your walls, your windows, your doors. When it disappears into the background, the room can feel a bit undefined. When it's intentional, even in like a subtle way, everything starts to feel way more put together. And the nice part is, you don't need to do anything crazy dramatic. You don't need black trim everywhere. You don't need high contrast. Sometimes it's just a slightly cleaner white or a slightly deeper tone. Just enough difference to create separation. That small shift is often what makes a space from feeling fine to feeling designed. Nailed that. It's not about adding more, it's about defining what's already there. The goal here isn't to stop using white trim. It's to stop using it automatically, because once trim becomes intentional, the whole room does as well.